What's going on, beautiful and amazing people? Welcome back to another episode on the Life is Huncho YouTube channel. Right, it's your host, the one and only Hugh Huncho himself. Right, checking in with y'all. By the title, as y'all can see, we have a new president of the United States of America. Right, Donald J. Trump. I hope I said his name correctly, but yeah, man, I just wanted to make this video real quick because I know a lot of people, right, all across the country right now. Some people are happy, right? Some people are distressed. Some people are really jolly and they're optimistic, and some people feel like the world is about to end, right? And before they know it, they're gonna be back on the plantation, right, picking cotton. In reality, me personally, I don't think none of that is honestly going to happen. Being somebody who, I don't want to say I'm into politics, but I definitely do keep up with, what some political figures are, what are they advocating? What's their kind of campaign agenda and message? And for me, right, coming as an African American man, right, in this country, I'm actually very optimistic and very hopeful for these next 4 years. I truly do believe that for the past 4 years, right, I've consciously seen the country go in a direction that I don't generally agree with, right? I generally don't really think that the things that we've been doing in the specific policies, right, that we're upholding is for the better of the U.S. citizen or the American people, right? Us getting involved in ourselves in outside affairs, outside of our country, giving so much assistance to countries that at the end of the day, right, we're that's not our wars, right? That's not necessarily our problems. And the U.S. can't be the security guard, can't be the parent, can't be the fixer of every country's problems in the world, right? We generally can't, because at the end of the day, we have our own problems at home that we need to figure out, that we need to deal with. So for a lot of people who might have voted on the blue side, voted for Kamala, right? Technically, that was also a vote for Biden and their whole camp and campaign and what they want, right? At the end of the day, I believe Kamala as a person is a great person. Biden is probably a great person. However, a lot of the policies, right, that lean a little bit more towards the left side, it doesn't really seem like this is conducive towards the U.S. people, right? And what I mean by this is trying to defund the police, right? Don't get me wrong. We all understand police brutality is a real thing. We all understand that there's some people who are in positions of power that don't deserve to be there, right? That don't have the right mindset, right? The right, you could say, perspective on what it means to be an officer, right, in that position, wearing that badge. However, taking money away from the industry, taking money away from them, I don't think that's generally the solution, right? We're not giving them money to have more guns, to have more utilities, because at the end of the day, a pistol or an AR, they both can kill or they both can take a life, right? It doesn't matter which one you're using. But what we should be doing is we should be allocating funds towards giving proper programs for our police officers, right? For them to be properly trained, for them to understand emotional intelligence, conflict de-escalation, right? How to be able to understand somebody's body language so they don't quickly just react and end up shooting somebody just because they have hot boiling water on the stove, right? Things like that. We know things like that happen all the time, right? Police officers kind of, being afraid of their lives and pulling the trigger. If they had proper education, right, proper training, I think these, police brutalities, I think these unarmed people being shot, which if you really look at it statistically is a very low amount, right, in the grand scheme of crime that's happening across the country. If we give these police officers proper training, I think, not only would these police officers be more appreciative of the role, that's one. We should make it harder for people to become police officer, have a background check, have a mental check, right? Be able to handle stress, depression, all these things before they become a police officer, right? If they're going to get benefits and pay, that pay and benefits should be reflective of the position that they have. You see what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I don't necessarily agree with what the left is trying to do. Another thing as well is just recently, they gave Ukraine the AOK to launch long-range missiles into Russia. My whole thing, I feel as though that this is a blatant sabotage of Trump, right? This is a blatant sabotage. You're trying to make it harder for Trump and the president of Ukraine and Putin, right? The president, I think he's the president of Russia. Don't quote me on that, right? He's some important figure there. We all know. But you're kind of basically sabotaging what he's trying to do, because the moment he gets into office, he's going to talk to Putin and they're going to settle this war. But now you want to basically throw a cheap shot and kill a few other Russian soldiers last minute before you leave the office, I think we can now be confident and say that the Biden campaign was corrupt, because that is a corrupt and weird thing to do as you're about to leave office. 2 months in, as you're about to leave office, that's what you do. You see how they act, right? That seems very childish. That seems very petty to do that when you're on your way out of the White House. You see what I'm saying, right? So for people who, they're thinking, oh, the world might end, right? Just to kind of go through some of the policies that the Trump administrations want to enact, want to put into practice once he comes into office, right? They want cleaner food for us, right? Robert F. Kennedy, right, is basically forefronting this objective, being able to take all the corrupt chemicals out of our food that is not in other products across the world. The Biden administration never talked about things like that, right? They're just saying that, oh, health is number one, right? Medicaid is doing great, right? They say everything is doing great, but the American people ourselves, we don't feel it. Why are people being sick? Why are people getting disease and ailments that doctors can't explain? Where do they come from, right? All things that are very important. Another thing with young child education, right? I do not believe that a child, before they become the age of 18, needs to learn anything about sexual or gender orientation. I personally do not think that does anything towards enhancing or building them up as a child. They should have the freedom and the liberty to do whatever they want, but it shouldn't be put in front of their face at a very early age, right? I think we can all agree, if a 12-year-old can't enlist into the military, if a 12-year-old can't buy alcohol legally, if they can't get a tattoo without a parent's approval, they should not be able to go to a doctor and get hormones, pills, or surgeries to change their gender orientation for the rest of their life. Everybody agrees with that. Even people who are transgenders agree with that. So when you're on the left side and you're in this echo chamber of yes men, right, hearing that your policies are great, but you don't actually really hear what the American people want, what the American people are going through, that's when you have a disconnect from your core audience, right? A lot of people voted for Trump not because that they like or respect him or that they care for him. They voted for him because it was a vote against the establishment and the 4 years that we've had, right? It's a vote against where America was currently going. It's a vote against the Biden and left-wing administration that, in my personal opinion, have gone extremely left, right? Barack Obama, the reason why a lot of people love him so much is because he was able to be a Democrat but stay somewhere near the center as far as his policies and his way of thinking, right? He understood that at the end of the day, the people come first, but the economy and the country also comes second as well, right? It's not a vice versa. It's not, oh, the people who are in positions are the most important player in this game, right? Barack Obama understood very well what it took to become not only a president, but what it took to maintain your presidency once you become in office. A lot of people voted for Trump this time around because the first time we were hearing so many things about him being a bad person, right? Being racist, being sexist, right? Things like that. But then when you see the man get into office and he actually does the things that he promised that he was going to do, right? And then the radical things that they said he was going to do, he never did it, right? Quote unquote, building the wall, right? People take what he says literally and they think, it's going to be a physical wall, right? But at the end of the day, you can build a perimeter, right? A secured border, right? By establishing more enforcement of that border, right? Which he did. However, the moment he gets out of office, right, we open up the borders as if anybody and anything can come into this country. And now what this does is that this hurts the U.S. citizens the most. The reason why is because, one, the people who are going through the proper process of bringing their family members into this country, right? I have Haitian family members that are right now, they're in literally in a war zone and they need to come here, but they're trying to do it the proper way. So when they come here, they have paper, they can work, they can contribute to the economy, they can pay taxes, actually contribute to our economy, right? The people who are doing it through the proper way, because there's a whole stalemate in this whole process, right? They're making it harder for people to do it that way. They're opening up the gates for other people who are doing it illegally to come in through the country. And now think about it for a second. If somebody is already a criminal or somebody already has a record in their country and they don't have no respect for the U.S. law here to go through the proper way of getting into the country, when they come here, they're not going to have no respect for the local laws in the city that they're going to be living in. And that's exactly what's happening, where unfortunately people who are undocumented come in here, right? They aren't able to get real jobs, right? Jobs that regular American citizens would be getting. They're not able to get those jobs, right? Because they're undocumented, right? So they're going to be taking any job, right? Even jobs that are underneath the tables, jobs that another American or a high schooler or somebody who, might be disabled can't work a certain kind of job. That's a job that will be available to them. Now, a person who's undocumented, they're going to get it, right? They're going to get it. And then the thing that also poses a bigger concern with that is, let's say that they're undocumented, they're not able to get a job, but they need income, they need housing. What are they going to do? They're going to rob, they're going to steal, they're going to break into things to get by. And why are we putting these people in that type of situations? Why are we putting the U.S. economy and the American people in that type of situations? And that's what's been going on for the past 4 years, right? That's what's been going on for the past 4 years. So for a lot of people who, you could say you're scared, you're angry, you're afraid, I would say just actually listen to Donald Trump's interviews and his speeches verbatim for yourself. Stop the whole, I heard him say this, or I heard a clip about this, or I see, no. Unless you see a video of it coming out of the man's mouth himself, that's when you can know it's legitimate. And he put a video out saying he's against a national abortion ban. That was one of the biggest concerns on the left side was female reproductive rights. And he's in agreement with that. He wants female to have the ability to do what they want. But at the end of the day, he can't control every 50 states in their decision, right? Each state, they have to operate things how they want to operate it. And that's not for us to decide. That's at the end of the day, we gave them the power to make that decision for us. So we cannot be surprised if they make the decision for us. We just have to vote in our states to make sure abortion is possible. That's it. That's it. Go out, go to your local senator, go to your local governor, right? Your congressman in your state, email them, send a petition, send them a phone call, and tell them that you want on the next ballot abortion rights. That's it. That's it. That's really all that it comes down to, right? Just how each state voted for marijuana, I think each state can vote for abortions, right? Respectfully. So with that being said, for anybody who is thinking right now, what are these next 4 years are going to look like? I want you to really be optimistic. I want you to really think that, okay, these next 4 years is your opportunity to really get ahead. Because before, we've seen a lot of signs of a recession, a lot of signs of a depression, a lot of signs of inflation continuously growing up. But I'm very confident now that we have somebody who's a little bit more business savvy, somebody who understands a little bit more how money actually works. I'm very confident that the economy not only is going to go up, the stock market is going to go up. We're going to be able to avoid a recession, right? Job wages are going to go up. So if you are working at a job, you better 10x it. You better do what you can to try and get ahead. Pick up another job if you can. Don't overwork yourself. Work smarter, not harder, right? Be on the lookout for the opportunities when they knock, right? As far as crypto, as far as the stock market, as far as companies making big business moves. Now that we have a person who's in office who actually wants to see these companies thrive, you got to think about it, right? If we had a Democratic president and they say, oh, let's take money away from the rich, right? Let's tax them more. Think about who's actually going to feel it the most, the employees. If they tax these companies, if they tax these wealthy people more money, what are they going to do? They're just going to deduct the payroll. And that is a lot of companies' biggest expense. So the only people that are going to feel the most effect from it are the employees, are the people who are at the bottom of the barrel. These rich people, they are already rich. It does not matter if you tax them more. They're still going to find another loophole. What you need to do is make policies and rules saying, hey, the money that you're saving from taxes, allocate it back to the employees. Allocate it back towards your business. Allocate it back towards the corporation and actually make innovative technology, make innovative things, right? Actually advance human civilization the right way, right? the right way. So Trump's in office now, man. He is going to be our 47th president come January 2025, right? I want you guys to not even mark that day. Mark the day right now, right? The moment that you're watching this video, mark today. And I want you to start not only calculating from now until the next 4 years and see how the economy, see how the country, see how you do as an individual, how your life improves, right? And then that's how we'll be able to tell who the next president after Trump should be, whether they should be a Republican or whether they should be a Democrat, whether Trump actually upholds all the promises that he said that he's going to do now when he gets into office come January. Right? That's what I'm actually I got my eyes on him because now he has more pressure on him than before. He's already been the president. You've been in the role. You know what it's like. You know what it takes. Now you have Congress and the House that are at your side. So now the ball is really in Corp's cabinet, man. And with the all-star team that he's built, I think we should be optimistic, happy, and joyful, right? Happy and joyful that he's in office because I think from here, the U.S. economy as a whole should be doing an uptrend. You as an individual, as a citizen to the American economy should be doing an uptrend. But at the end of the day, I want you to understand, it didn't matter if Kamala won. It didn't matter. It wouldn't have really mattered. At the end of the day, these presidents, they're not going to be the thing that saves you or change your life. But when Barack Obama got into office, my life didn't change. When Trump got into office, my life didn't change. Well, they've changed, but they only changed because I made them change, right? My life only changed because I was the influence and I was the person that made it change. So take control of your life, right? Fuck the politics and who's in office. At the end of the day, right, they're only going to do what they need to do for the U.S. economy. You want to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to win and succeed and make sure that these next 4 years are your greatest 4 years. Think about making America great again. Let's focus on how can we make ourselves, the people around us, our family, our businesses, great again. And with that being said, until the next video, I'm your host, Hugh Huncho, and I'm out.